So this is just going to be a quick video basically about what equipment I'm using. So like amps, guitars, pedals, and then settings that I've done on my amps and my guitars. So yeah, it's just a quick video about that and what equipment I'm using at the moment. So this is the guitar that I'm using, which is a player grade Fender Stratocaster. I'm using that for Vida Child and You Really Got Me, just because it seems to suit the tones pretty well. It seems like that's pretty hot because the Van Halen tone's not too bad really in my opinion, but yeah, it does the job. And for the Jeff Buckley song, I'm using that. Using that specifically just because it's got quite a good big sound, and that's what I kind of wanted because it kind of suits the song quite well. And it's as well nice balanced sound. It's quite, I don't know how to describe it. It's just quite lovely. For the pedals that I'm using, I did have like 5, which I'll add these 2 as well, hooked up to that little setup that I've got. But now that I've realised this pedal's just what I want in terms of sound for both songs, I've got rid of the treble booster because the treble booster was originally used for the Van Halen song. Because it kind of got me the thin sound, but it's too distorted, so it's not what I'm looking for. I wanted a kind of really clean, overdriven sound that was quite trebly. It did do that, but it's too distorted and not clean enough. Which this hasn't got enough overdrive, but it's still quite clean compared to that. But anyway, and then I got a Vox which I've adjusted inside to have more of the higher end of the sound, just so when you're doing that it's got a proper like I don't know how to describe it, but that kind of sound, the Voodoo Child intro sound basically. But I've adjusted it so it's not too trebly, just because that's how it was before. It was, yeah, it was a bit too ear screamy, so I've adjusted it down a bit. And then this is just a tuner pedal. And then this is the amp that I'm using, which is a Marshall AVT 150. I like it. It's pretty alright, to be fair. I mean, it's not too bad for like one of my first amps. It gives me good sounds anyway. But these are the settings that I've got. This is for the top. This setting up here. This is for the Van Halen tone. So I've got a bit of like a hall simulator as like my reverb, but it does it sounds pretty close. I'm gonna do a tone demo after the end of this video, just to kind of show what this sounds like, and the guitar over there, just showing what it all sounds like so far. And then this down here is my Voodoo Child tone, or my Stevie Ray Vaughan tone. This down here is my Jeff Buckley. So the 9, 3 and 8 is for my Stevie Ray Vaughan, and for my Jeff Buckley tone it's 6, 2 and 8. But yeah, this is always maxed out. Never normally use that. That's presence. It's not too high. Well, it's not too high. Running at 9, but yeah, not too high apparently. But yeah, it's not much to it really. It's a valve amp, but it's only got 1 valve in it. So I mean, it's still a valve, but compared to what you have in a Fender, which is like sometimes like 6 valves, it's a bit different. But yeah. And then my guitar setup. Now I've set it up a bit different, just so it's quite like, it's got a lot of good acoustic sound to it. So basically just made it so it has 0 fret buzz, just so it's got the cleanest sound when I'm doing like chords and stuff. That's just what I wanted. Or just playing notes in general, just so it just sounded really nice and clean, because that's kind of what I like. Yeah, I've also adjusted the neck a bit, so up here's got a bit more room, just so when I'm playing chords it doesn't buzz out at all. And it's quite high, but it's not mega high. As you can see there, I'd say in person, from the wood to the top of the string, so not the fret, it's like probably a good centimetre. So it is quite high, but it's not too bad. And then the pickups, this is purposely set up to be almost highest you can get it, but it's set up so it's screamy, but it's like more sweet than screamy. It's more of a sweeter sound, but then it can scream a bit, which is sick. I do like that a lot. This one I haven't really messed around with that much, but this pickup I do try to have it the same height, but it always moves itself down somehow. It always like lowers itself, so I've got future plans to bolt it straight to the wood but have it like obviously mess around with the sound and see what I want, and then make like a system so I can adjust it, but it's bolted into the wood, kind of like how Brian May had his guitar done. Yeah, also I've intonated it. These saddles, they're different upgraded saddles, just because I don't know, these are roll saddles, so it's a bit easier on the string, like the break angle, you know what I mean, like the little bend handle there angle. The tremolo is set perfectly flat. I used to have it so it was slightly up like that. Not that much, but you know, demonstration purposes. But I'm not good at like that anymore, because it's not as stable. So when it's perfectly apart, the tuning stability is quite stable. There's not much else except from I like to wind my strings really far down, which is complete opposite of what I used to do. I used to wind them all the way up, so when you use the tremolo, there's not much friction on here, on the nut, so it slides free quite well. But I don't really know, there's no point of that for me when, I mean, it makes it slightly easier. That was the point, is that it makes it slightly easier to use the tremolo, but I haven't really noticed a difference, and I never break a string here either or anything like that. So yeah, I always just break them here. Yeah, that's another thing, is that a saddle, I've been soldering the string bits where they'd meet at the saddle point, just so it doesn't break as often. I also have to solder it at the ball end, so it doesn't snap off the ball that the string's wrapped around. So yeah, it's quite annoying. I haven't figured out that problem yet, but I'm sure I will at some point, and I'll have an update on that. So I'm just going to show off this guitar first. I would say the name of it, but I think I've got it. All it says is it's a Gretsch Electromatic, and that's all in all about it. It's a hollow body, but it's got some weird pickups in it, and apparently they're quite rare. But I say rare, they're just not very common. So this is a sound test. I'll do clean first, which is basically what the Jeff Buckley sound is going to be, and then I'll put an overdrive on. Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention about like equipment and tone is that I use a metal pick. It does affect the tone a bit. I can't really describe it yet because I've not really thought about that. But all I can say, it definitely puts a different style onto it. It's a bit more, there's a lot of weird things you can do with it, like squeals and screeches and like weird noises. I'll show some of that.